you seen Star Wars?
Part 5 of the Kenobi series really delivered on a lot of fans' hopes and dreams. We had flashbacks, revelations, betrayals, and even a callback to The Force Unleashed. But was it good? Today I'm going to give you my honest review of the second to last episode of this Kenobi series, but before we do, please leave a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars content. I start out every single review by reminding you that I have watched the episode 3 times, and in this case, I've watched the episode 4 times just to see if it would grow on me at all. Each time I watch this episode, I keep leaving with the same empty feeling, which I hate because so many people really love this episode of the Kenobi series. I mean, what's not to love? You get to see Hayden return as Anakin in these flashbacks that take place before Attack of the Clones. You get Reva's backstory, which features more Order 66, and you get to see Anakin killing younglings, which I know some of you just can't get enough of. And we even get to see Reva get her ass kicked by the hand of Darth Vader. It's also perfect, right? If you don't like Reva, wouldn't you like this episode, seeing her get her ass kicked? But why do I feel nothing while watching this episode? Is it the loneliness, the depression, the knowing that Star Wars will never be the same as it was in 1983? No, I'm playing. I just don't like this episode for some reason. From the start, I rolled my eyes at Hayden being a young Anakin. He looks awful. Like, I don't know what else to say other than this whole sequence looks kind of weird. If you'd asked me when you should do Anakin flashbacks, I would have said after Revenge of the Sith. Or my bad, not after. I mean, he's already Darth Vader at that point. But like during Revenge of the Sith, like slightly before it, during the Clone Wars. So you can get an older Anakin that looks closer to Hayden's age, but also because that's when Anakin is more interesting. But instead we got the awkward, creepy Anakin from the worst Star Wars movie that there is, and everyone, like, even the smile that he does, like, that part was so weird to me. Everyone's like, this looks weird. Like, why are you thinking the smile looks, like, nostalgic? This looks creepy. But anyways. What I do like about the flashbacks, though, is that they are from Vader's perspective, and it also goes on throughout the entire episode. They're used to show Vader thinking about how he and Obi-Wan used to fight, and attempts to use history as a factor into the new battle with Obi-Wan that he has going on in this episode. And I feel like this was a great idea that honestly could have been done over the course of the entire series, and that would have worked very well. But it's also funny that Vader is remembering these habits that both of them have, but yet does the exact same things now that he did back then that got him in trouble, and that he's like following it and making the same mistakes. I mean, did he not learn a damn thing from Obi-Wan? Is he a fucking idiot? Anyways, all that aside, this episode takes place on the planet that the path is stuck on, and Reva tracks him here, and under her new title of Grand Inquisitor, she spends 3 minutes setting up the troops to attack the base that Kenobi, Tala, and Ice Cube's son have to figure out how to get everyone out of there. One of the best parts of this episode for me was seeing Vader think a little bit more about how he approaches the enemy in this confrontation with Kenobi. You can tell that he's kind of anxious to meet his former master once again to finish this fight. And this really highlights to me some of the big payoff moments in this show that have been building up now for 4 episodes. You even see that when you have the confrontation with Reva and Obi-Wan, where Reva gets her backstory, and we as the audience get to see like why she joined the dark side and her goal as an Inquisitor. And as predicted, she was a youngling at the Jedi Temple during Order 66. That was very predictable. What wasn't predictable was that she was an Inquisitor because she wanted to get revenge on Vader for killing her friends. And I thought that was a very good twist to her story. And it was unexpected because it's it's satisfying, it's original. This is the stuff that you would expect from these good character moments. Her portrayal of Vader wasn't performed to the best, though. I mean, she swings at him after he was doing the big badass hold the ship thing, instead of daring it when he would have ideally been open to an attack. But anyways, Vader completely ruins her reputation by dancing circles around the so-called Grand Inquisitor and defeating her without even drawing his own lightsaber. For me, surprisingly, all the best moments about this episode were around Reva's storytelling. I mean, honestly, seemingly wrapping up and giving her some sort of meaning into this show is what made this episode kind of interesting. Fans loved seeing Anakin return in the flashbacks, but that's not the story throughout this episode at all. The story is a lot of it about Reva and her revelation. Sadly, this focus on Reva, though, takes away from what makes this episode and the entire series so interesting, which is the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Vader having these flashbacks throughout the episode gives us something the prequels didn't, which is these two characters enjoying each other's company, giving the audience a really good look at the friendship between this master and apprentice. The execution of this relationship throughout the episode isn't something I found engaging, though. These flashbacks can only do so much when the present-day scenes feel like a Marvel movie. The scenes with that fake Jedi guy from Marvel take away any seriousness of the episode. He argues with Recon or Reckon, Ice Cube's son, about how to get out, and the whole scene's just really weird, and Leia's like, I can go through the vent, and then, he's like, no, this isn't no time for playing, and Obi-Wan's like, if you trust me, I trust her, and it's just awful, awful, awful dialogue, and I can't believe any of you are eating it up like you have been. And then he's joking around with Leia about the vent thing, seconds after Tala dies, which is supposed to be an emotional scene, and you have Kenobi being like, oh my god, I can't believe she died, and in the background you hear, Leia, are you almost done? I'm almost ready. She said she's almost ready. Oh my god, the tone of the series, the pacing of it, the writing, it's baffling. And even the odd plan of getting out of the bunker was so weird. I know they needed to wait until the hatch opened up on top of them so they could fly out, but instead of being inside of the ships, waiting for the hatches to open to just fly out, they wanted to wait until the hatches open, then get into the ship, then fly away. Does that make any sense at all? I mean, wouldn't you just be in the ship ready to go, and then when they open you just immediately fly off instead of loading after the... What? Come on. Vader can't do what he just did to that ship to the other ship that's flying off. He really just couldn't be like, oh, I misread the situation, let me get the other one. They didn't. Did they really all just sit there and watch Vader do all of that fucking work just on one ship so they could wait for him to stop and then they fly off? That's pretty damn funny. What's better than that is the army of stormtroopers missing every single person in front of them. The joke has always been that these guys suck at aiming, but oh my god, do you really have to make them this bad? It's stuff like this, man. This show has so many highlight moments, so many really powerful Star Wars moments, and then it's all undercut by this choppy, oddly paced, badly written joke of a show at times where it just doesn't feel serious. Maybe I'm wrong, but this episode of Kenobi doesn't really feel that impactful to me. Reva's twist and the story arc there is cool, but I'm here for Kenobi. I'm not here for Reva, not even really here for Vader. I am here for Kenobi. And I always ask myself, after seeing these episodes, I did this with The Mandalorian, I did this with Book of Boba Fett, Bad Batch, Clone Wars, you name it. I always ask the same thing at the end of every episode. Is this the best you could do? And with Kenobi, I know that it is not. I do not think that this is it. And I unfortunately am not a big fan of Part 5 like everyone else is. And I would imagine that as time goes on, people will look back at this episode and kind of be like, it's actually not that good. But maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, because I really love seeing the fandom enjoy an episode like this as much as they have. But at the same time, it makes me wonder, what do you guys want from Star Wars at this point? Do you want cheap and weird things like this where, it's good because I remember, it's member berries again. You remember all this cool stuff from your childhood, and this is basically a prequels jerk-off fest at this point, which is completely fine. If that's what you want, that's what you deserve, and that's what you get, and if you like it, good for you. But I want good storytelling again. I want these powerful Star Wars moments to feel impactful and something that I could show my kid 20 years from now and he still feel those same emotions. The only people who are going to feel anything from these kind of scenes are people like me who grew up with the prequels, not the sequel fans who didn't grow up with the prequels and don't really understand why it's so cool to see Hayden back. It's just odd to me that this is the route we're going. I'd give Kenobi Part 5 a 7 out of 10, but tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of Part 5, and what would you rate it? Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like on the channel, subscribe to stay up to date for more Star Wars content. Follow us on Chatooine, the Instagram, the Twitter, and the official Chatooine channel is below in the description. We do it every Wednesday night. We'll do another one this next coming Wednesday. We did our series review of Kenobi this past Wednesday, so check that out. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.